welcome back to Rush Fans Rush Roundtable. This is episode 271. We're still in the midst of our Rush 50 series. This week we're going to be talking about live performances. Before we get into the whole meat and potatoes of that idea, please remember, take care of our housekeeping stuff, to like and subscribe if you like our content. Leave a comment down in there. What live performances, after we've gone through our list, do you think should have been included, criminally underrepresented? Did you see something that you think should be on here that we didn't mention? Were you in attendance? Let us know. But I'll explain the logistics of all that in a second. Do please remember, you can tip us on Ko-fi if you so choose. Meantime, we've got our sponsor links, which are below. Please patronize our sponsors. And as always, we have our merch store where you can get like nifty hats and shirts that look like this and all kinds of other stuff. And that being said, let me introduce our panel for you. We got Ryder, we've got Jim, we've got Alex, and we've got Eric. I, Paul, am going to be moderator. I'm not going to be on the panel this week. I'm simply going to puppet master the strings, so to speak. And these gentlemen are going to put together a playlist of preferred live performances. When I say preferred, I mean everybody has a favorite. So what we're going to do is, here's the good of it. We're putting together a playlist of some of the greatest live performances of each of the songs that ends up getting mentioned. But once someone mentions a song and they pick this show or this release that had that, it is no longer on the table. You cannot pick that song. No one else can pick a different performance of that song. So we're locked in on that one. So that is how we are going to do it. One last bit of information. Our email address has changed. Get rid of the old one. The rushfans.net email address is off the table. If you want to get a hold of us, email us at rushroundtable@gmail.com. So hopefully the graphic has been inserted thusly. That being said, we are going to go in order that you see on your screen. So it's going to go Ryder, over to Jim, over to Alex, over to Eric. I've got my marker, and I also have my drumstick, which will do nobody any good except me. Give me something to play with while you guys are talking. But Ryder, why don't you start us off? Give us our first song and what it's from.
All right. So I'm actually kind of glad I'm going up first because the first song I picked here actually I think works really well as an opener. I don't think it ever was used, but hey, I think if you listen to it, I think it could be pretty cool. I have Vital Signs from the Grace Under Pressure tour. Not only is this my favorite version of Vital Signs, it might actually be my favorite Rush live song ever. I don't know. There's just something about this version. I think it's got some real mojo to it. I love the synthesizer sounds. Geddy is on the top of his game vocally, and I love his little like at the end of it, he just kind of starts rambling like "Rebel Blade from the North," like just it's fun. And where it kind of is placed in the end, and in the live album, it's kind of placed at a very climactic moment. But I think for our little playlist here, serves as a pretty solid opener. So, Vital Signs
Nice.
from the Grace Under Pressure tour album.
Sweet. Good
I
tune.
like it.
Great choice. I got to knock it off my
Yeah.
list now.
It was actually not on my list, oddly.
It was on mine.
Okay. I
Hey,
am
I
the
knew it
I am
was
the
on
Pick of the
Eric's.
oddball
It
out.
light.
had to be on
Just
Eric's.
got it even more interesting.
Okay.
All right, Jim,
All
go ahead and
right.
give us the first one.
So I am going to be very selfish because I don't want anybody to pick this song from any other album because I think the best version of Xanadu is on Exit Stage Left.
And that's the one I called before we started the episode. I said there's
Heck
one
yeah.
song, one performance is the only prediction I'm going to make,
That
and that was
man,
it.
that song, it just I mean, it's the quintessential Rush song, in my opinion, and the Exit Stage Left version just takes it to another level, I think. So, oh yeah, gotta have it. I will be less selfish now. Not maybe, not really.
So that's
Well,
the only one I actually called her.
I
Go,
knew I
Alex.
wasn't going to have Xanadu on there because I figured that someone else would. I'm actually gonna jump right in on a
Oh,
fairly famous bootleg, as
oh,
far as a bootleg that anyone can find on YouTube easily, and talk about Cold Fire from 1994 on the
oh,
Counterparts tour, because that Auburn Hills performance where Geddy changes the lyrics and he's singing, well, not the lyrics, sorry, he sings the some of the vocal overdub melody, where so it's like, ooh, different song, but not really.
Nice.
That one. That's just. I just think that it's just got such punch.
See,
A good
that's why
Nice.
I'm
old
decided to
country
moderate
western song.
Exactly.
Yeah.
Written by Hank something or other.
Oh, bar.
Hank
Oh,
Zivianovich.
far.
Excellent. All right, Eric.
I'm also going to be selfish like Jim because I imagine this might be on someone else's list. I'm going to take The Garden from the
Oh,
Clockwork Angels tour first. It's my
wow.
favorite song of all time, so naturally I had to take it
Yeah.
first. They killed it
Such a,
when they played it
yeah.
live, especially with the string ensemble. I mean, Geddy's voice is incredible on it. The presentation with all the, the conservatory, the flowers, the blossoming out throughout
Nice.
the
Yeah.
throughout the screens was just amazing. So have to take The Garden.
Nice.
Doing us proud. This is a great list so far.
It's
Excellent.
only going to get
All
better.
right. Ryder.
That's sweet. So, from one of their most emotional songs to probably one of their most upbeat and energetic, I'm gonna go with "The Big Money" from Rush in
Oh,
Rio.
okay.
I really, really like this version.
Where's my
I
big
think
money?
I just think it's super, this is a very like upbeat, energetic song. The Rio crowd was definitely very much feeling
Oh,
it.
yeah.
Um, and I also really like, I had a really tough toss up between this one and the Clockwork Angels version because of the tag at the end. I couldn't decide between the Austin Powers or the Simpsons. But I think
Yeah.
the Simpsons, like, for as much as the $1 million works for the song,
1 million.
the deep cut Simpsons shout is so good. I can't
That's so
not put that
funny.
on the list. So big money from Rio.
Nice.
So good.
Man.
Nicely done.
Yeah.
All right.
Okay. You know, I thought I would have to scratch more songs off of my list so far, but I've had to scratch a total of 0 off of my big long list here, which is pretty amazing. So I am gonna go with, I think I'm gonna go this way. I'm gonna go with Dreamline from Different Stages. That song had so much freaking energy. It was crazy. I mean, you listen to the studio version and it's a great tune, super solid, great tune, nice changes in it and everything. But you could just feel the energy of the crowd and the band on the different stages performance. It's amazing. But yeah, Dreamline, different stages.
And I can chime in being there when that was played. Oh,
Oh
amazing.
man, dude. At that show,
Yeah.
that specific show? Oh,
Tinley
sweet.
Park. Yeah. Tinley Park, Illinois.
Yeah, nice.
World Music Theater. Oh, great choice.
Oh
All right,
yeah.
Well,
Alex.
in preparing for this, I was listening to some tracks I didn't haven't listened to in a while. So I did land on "Distant Early Warning" from A Show of Hands, which
Yes.
I have to admit I had forgotten about that version of that.
You took one of
And
mine. Nice.
well, there's good. But yeah,
That's good. Nice. Yeah. What a what a great tune and a great performance of that one too, you
mm.
know? Oh
Well,
yeah. Yeah.
I
Nice
got to admit,
choice,
in
man.
thinking about some of these, I'm looking for like when they're new and fresh. There's a new song for the
Yeah.
band, but this was one album later, a couple albums later, actually. So they was still fresh enough, but they had, had a little experience playing.
The synths are really tight on this one. Like the
Yeah.
sequencing is on point. Like they were very
Oh
like
yeah.
adept with the triggering and stuff by this
Hmm.
point. Throw of Hands is a lot of really great
Oh,
versions of these songs. I'm glad you
Yeah,
gave it a shout.
might be
what a
another one on
great
here too.
what a great album. I got a few.
Hmm.
Eric?
Okay. Eric, is this your you getting into the test for Echo now, right? Is that where we're
Unfortunately
going?
not. Not this time
Oh,
around. Not this time
okay.
around.
Next time. We'll save that.
Shocker, I know.
That's a good, yeah.
Um, I am going to go with a song that I got to see live in person, and that's Working
Oh,
Man from Time Machine in Cleveland, because I was there. I got
nice.
to see it from that recording, which I like to shout out as much as possible because I think it's very cool. Um, it's one of, I think, maybe the 10 or 15 Rush songs I knew at that point. So when they started off with the reggae intro, I'm like,
Yeah.
not
What?
familiar.
Where does this
And
go?
Yeah.
and then I hear the lyrics, I'm like, that sounds more familiar. And then they go into it, and I'm like, oh, this is awesome. And then obviously they rock out for the next 5 minutes, and it's just
Oh yeah.
such a high energy performance. Just watching Alex, squat halfway down and rip a solo for 3 minutes or however long that goes on. I mean, just absolutely awesome, killer performance of Working Man when they're all in their late 50s. So I mean, if you want to
Oh
see some
yeah.
guys that can absolutely rock no matter how old they are, that's a great performance to show people.
Great
Yep.
logic. Great logic. Cool, cool. All right, Ryder.
All right. Jim giving different stages a shout made me flip my three and my four because I'm fairly
Oh,
confident this song is going to get picked and I need to lock in my different stages rep for it.
okay.
I'm going to do the different stages version of Animate.
Yes.
Oh,
Because
nice.
I love the mixing on this one. And also I love the fact that they give Neil an extra couple bars in the intro. It just literally he's just playing that where it's just the drums for an extra. He's just playing the same part twice.
Yeah.
But I love that he just has that extra time to groove, build the tension a little bit.
Yep.
It's just so good. And there's a lot of
Nice.
stuff on different stages I really, really love, but
Oh yeah.
that version of Animate's definitely my favorite, so definitely wanted to
Wow.
lock that in.
Oh yeah. Sweet. I had actually picked Animate from R40 because
Ooh, that's another good one. Yeah.
I thought Neil's groove was I thought his groove was killer on that version of the tune, right? It was like the everything was at the right tempo. It was and it
Hmm.
just kind of like just sit in that pocket right there. Oh man. All right. Okay, I'm gonna have to go with I actually didn't put all mine in order, so I'm ordering them in my head right now. I'm gonna have to go with this next one. So um I got to see the Power Windows tour and they played this song on the Power Windows tour and then not again until Clockwork. Grand Designs. I about lost my freaking marbles when went into Grand Designs. I thought it was like the coolest thing in the world. And I was there. I was at that one. That was in Dallas. So yeah, one of my favorite Rush tunes anyway.
And I only know that that was an encore during the Power Windows tour, thanks to the quiz that we had a couple weeks ago. And Eric came
Ah,
up with that particular question because he did all our set list questions. So thank you, Eric, for that bit of wisdom. So
awesome.
we are halfway done, gentlemen, not counting drum solos,
Ah,
of which everyone will choose one. We are halfway done.
we
Wow.
could go to
There we
like
go.
10 or 20 songs each. Pretty easy, right?
Easily.
Alex.
I'm looking at Passage to Bangkok from Exit
Oh,
Stage Left, which of
yeah.
course on the CD it was omitted when CDs first came out, but if you have the record, it's sitting there waiting for you to hear it.
Yep.
Nice, nice.
Nice. That was my pick for that song too. On that lovely, awesome, best live album. I'm not biased at all.
Great choice. Um, I'm going to go to my spirit animal, or I guess my spirit fantastical monster, Count Floyd, and go with The Weapon off
Oh,
of Grace Under Pressure Live, which that's the
nice.
best live album, Jim. Had to had to throw the
Uh,
correction in there. Grace Under Pressure Live is the best live album they ever did. It's just phenomenal.
it's
Um, but
it's up
the
there.
it at the top. Uh,
It's fantastic. It really is fantastic.
but I mean, the intro with Count Floyd is so much fun. The mix is outstanding. I mean, every single instrument on that recording is just mixed flawlessly.
Oh
Getty's
yeah.
vocal performance is awesome. The solo is awesome. I mean, there's nothing not to love about the weapon off of Grace Under Pressure Live.
Yep.
Well reasoned. Well reasoned. All right. Two more each.
Okay. Two more? Only two?
Only
That
two more
sucks.
each. It's flying.
I
Moving right.
know.
Ryder.
I'm gonna give a little bit more love to the 90s and do
Oh.
Stick It Out from Time Machine.
Oh,
Oh my
nice.
gosh, this song is mean.
Yeah.
This version is so good. Alex's solo is crazy. Getty's flying all over the place on the net on the bass. Oh my gosh. This version of Stick It Out is so good. For a
Oh
song
yeah.
about a guy sitting on a chair on top of a pole. Oh my goodness. They crank it into overdrive on this one.
Yeah. Yep.
Very good.
Sweet.
Jim, you're
Okay.
next.
Oh boy. All right, I guess I'll go this one. No, nobody's picked it. Okay. No, no. All right. Sorry. Okay. I'm going back to the 70s here,
Hmm.
but it's not off of a 70s release, right? Off of Snakes and Arrows Live. I'm gonna go with Circumstances.
Ah.
What a upbeat, fun, musically upbeat, fun tune. And I believe, at least on the Snakes and Arrows Live CD, Geddy pulled out that red bass. I think it was a Fender Jazz, right? Is that right? But it was red. He played the red one on that one, didn't he?
Yeah,
If
because
I
that's the
remember
one he
this right?
usually had down tuned.
Yeah. Yeah, and I
Which
I
that's a
love
really cool part about this one. It's in a different key, which is it's kind of cool. They hadn't played it in such a long time that
yeah.
kind of gives like a reprise quality to
And,
it.
Yeah.
tuned down to step, it sounds it's so heavy when it's tuned down to
Yes.
step like that.
This
It's
back
Yeah.
to
great.
Oh
back with
yeah.
that stick it out version. Woo!
Yeah.
Oh yeah. Yeah, for sure.
Cool.
Yep. Circumstances. One of my faves. They're all my
Uh,
favorites.
yeah, basically. At this point, I'm gonna have to say Mission from A Show of Hands.
Ooh,
Yes.
Yeah.
wow. What a pick.
Yeah,
Yeah.
that one, I mean, I just think about, waiting for that album to come out, getting it when it came out, and just there was something about it as far as especially Geddy's vocal performance. I mean, all of their instrumentals, performances, but yeah, there was just something that was captured there that just was
Yep.
intense.
Well reasoned.
Great choice. And that outro solo in that song is just ethereal. It's so
Yeah.
good. I am going to give some love to their most underrated album, and that is Vapor Trails. So I'm going with Secret Touch from Rush and Rio. I mean, killer concert, killer version of that song, high energy all the way throughout. So uh, if you haven't heard that version, check it out. It's awesome.
Oh yeah. Awesome. Yeah, you're
Seriously,
right. That
smack
is
dab at the top of my honorable mentions list of if one
that
of mine
one.
got picked, that was going to be my first sub. Yes.
Uh,
All right. Last one
uh
each.
last one.
I know.
Dude. Ugh. All right.
So
And I don't know
restricted.
which
Well,
to. Ah, freaking crap. I'm like,
where's
go. Okay, go ahead, Ryder. I'm
Oh
on
yeah,
your.
no, sorry.
It's your
I
turn,
mean,
man.
most of my honorable mentions were my picks for this last one, but thinking about what's on the board right now, and kind of just like the rest of the songs I think I have a little room to be self-indulgent here. I would be remiss as a bass player if I didn't add "Leave That Thing Alone" from Time Machine in Cleveland on the Rush Live playlist. How can you not? That bass solo is probably, I think it is just the entire reason I own jazz basses. Like, oh my gosh, you cannot get any better than that freaking instrumental. Like, so good.
Yeah, it
So,
is.
so good.
It is killer instrumental for sure.
Hmm.
You said Time Machine, right?
Yep.
All right. Jim.
All right, I'm going back and forth between two.
We're gonna throw.
You know,
We're gonna make it fun, and maybe I'll give you guys. Time wise, we're doing fine. If drum solos go fast, we'll do an honorable mention apiece, as long as it's not
okay.
enough. So make it a
All
little bit less.
right. Okay. Then I'm just gonna I'll just have to go with this one. I have to go with this one. I'm going back to Exit Stage Left because contrary to Eric's opinion, that's the best live album. But Free Will. Free Will from Exit Stage Left. Just a lot of energy in that one for me.
All right.
Yeah, I got a lot of exit stage left options here. And actually, I
Heck
was
yeah.
in listening between that and Grace Under Pressure Live this week. I couldn't help but notice that Grace Under Pressure Live definitely had more energy, but Exit
Mm,
Stage Left definitely was a very sophisticated live production that
that it was.
it really set a standard.
Yeah,
But
yeah,
I feel like
sure.
I gotta be I guess throw this one out for the fans who would flip a table if I don't mention one. I'm going to get specific and say discovery from different stages. If you want to say
Wow.
2112, say 2112, but specifically Life's performance on
Wow.
discovery. Because I mean, when they brought that back after so many tours. I mean, I'd never seen 2112 played live until the Test for Echo tour. And normally I'm not someone who's flipping out over 2112. I mean, I love it, of course, but there's so many more better songs. But it's the sort of thing where, as I say, just the way he did Discovery is just like, yes, that one specifically is just yes. But of course, it has to be part of 2112.
Yeah. Wow. That's incredible. Yeah.
Great shout out.
Yeah. Yeah. For sure. For sure.
And
I
Eric.
think I'm going to go with Red Sector A, also from the Clockwork
Oh,
Angels
wow.
tour. Um, just because of the strings that are a part of that performance, I mean, it just adds so much to
Yeah.
the fullness of that song. It makes it, you know, darker in a sense than it already is. It's just
Yeah.
a great sound with those strings.
That's true.
Nicely
Wow.
done. All right, one honorable
Nice.
mention song apiece, as long as it hasn't been named.
Uh,
All right. I think I'm surprised this one didn't get a mention, so I'm glad I get to lock in the version for this one. I'm gonna go with Red Barchetta from the Time Machine tour. Very, very great version of the song. Obviously, the entirety of Moving Pictures was great, but I think my personal favorite from this little moment in the tour was Red Barchetta. And I love the little "No more for me, thanks. I'm driving."
yeah, that's
No
so
more for
funny.
me, thanks.
Daffy
I'm
Duck.
driving. Daffy Duck.
The,
Daffy
these
Duck.
little I love Rush and all their little like comedy touches they would put in. I think we got a good representation of that on this list with The Simpsons and Count Floyd. Now this like very much captures the essence of some of the goofy stuff you'd see on Rush
Oh
tours.
yeah. Well, it's like the reference to the Austin Powers vocal or the voice they did during the camera eye.
Hmm.
At the end, yeah, baby, yeah. At the
Yeah.
end of that one, just things like that. Yeah, it's so
It
those little bits are always extremely
Oh, that camera
entertaining.
eye is so good. Hey, maybe one of you
Oh
guys could put that
yeah.
in as your honorable mention.
is that
I think
actually
worth
Daffy
your
Duck
while.
saying
Here's a little
that?
something for you.
That is actually Daffy Duck on that one.
Who knew? How about
Yeah.
that?
Oh, okay.
Also, old people knew because we watched the cartoons.
I've got that as an actual text tone for one of my contacts on my phone. But anyway,
That's so funny. Okay. Wow. I'm surprised this a certain song has not been picked, but that's okay. I'm not going to pick that one. It gets enough love. I'm going to
I
go
do have a
here.
sneak attack. I do have a sneak attack list, and none of my
Oh,
songs have been picked. So
oh
I
wow.
did throw
All
I did
right.
throw a quick list together, but I'm not saying anything till your picks are done. Out of total fairness.
Okay. No, that's
All
fine.
right.
All right. So I'm going to go back to Clockwork Angels Live because I think this version is so much more interesting than the studio version for some reason. I don't know how to describe it. Seven Cities of Gold.
Nice.
It's I just I love the live version of that tune. If I had to pick a version to listen to live or studio for that one, I would listen to the live version.
Too many options for a shout out now.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah.
I at this point, because of it being an honorable mention, I feel like I would want to. Again, I began with a bootleg, and if I were to end with something that would be me seeing a song live that was never recorded or that we know of was never released, I would have myself sitting and standing at the concert on the Test for Echo tour, and I would say that the absolute energy and punch from Virtuality. I know I'm stealing from
Nice
Jim's
Ooh.
choice.
list.
Nice.
Virtuality was just such a
Yeah.
powerful song
Yes.
live.
Yes.
I would
Yes.
absolutely put that on the list because I mean I was lukewarm when the album was out. I'm like, yeah, okay, but then that following summer it's just like it was just energy in the
Yeah.
face
Oh, yeah.
from that stage.
You had the guts to do it. I didn't have the nerve to. I wanted to put virtuality on there so bad, but I was so worried I
It's
get so much flack for it. But yes.
you know it
Oh, I'm happy getting flack. I don't care.
Oh
that
yeah.
that
That's
song
that's one
should
of the
get
benefits of getting older is like, oh, you give me
yeah
attitude.
whatever. Yeah, in my
My whole
opinion,
list will
that
get
that
flack.
song
Don't
should
worry.
get zero hate. That I don't know why people hate on that tune. I mean,
So good. I've
great
gushed
tune.
about it on
So such a
roundtables
great tune.
enough.
Yeah, so
You
so
want to hear
good.
my thoughts about it? Check any other episode I'm on. I've probably talked about virtuality.
All right, Eric, your last one. Your honorable mention.
I think I will go with Here Again off the Agora Ballroom concert.
Wow.
I mean, I love that whole, is it an album? I don't know. Is it a bootleg? I don't know what that is. I love the whole sound of that entire album. It's so raw, it's so in your face. And of course it's got Neil on it playing all of their, debut and even before the debut stuff. But here again, especially, I just love the sound of Alex's guitar. I think it's just phenomenal, and it's sort of like a guilty pleasure Rush live performance for me. So here again.
Yeah. Nice. Sweet.
All right. Then one drum solo. Ryder?
Okay.
All right, let me put this in front of my face so I know. Well, I won't know that I'm saying it right. I'll give it a shot. Um, Day Day Slagvarker, the one from Snakes and Arrows. Um,
This like wait, hold on. I'll tell you. Hang on a second. Let me go grab it.
let's ask the
Keep talking.
drummer. But
Oh.
yeah, this is probably all around my favorite Neil drum solo. I think it moves
There it
to some of
is.
the most interesting spots that he's taken some of his solos, especially in the middle section with the two like ambient, like more ambient sections. I would maybe not ambient, but they're definitely like more airy and breathy. But they take a little bit of a different color than I think a
This
lot of his
motherfucker.
more like electronically driven sections in his solos before. Definitely have a lot of space to breathe. But yeah, just super action packed. I love the thing at the end, and I also picked it so I could slip Malignant Narcissism in this list before it because on the live album
Ah,
it is attached to it and you
yes,
can't
it
remove
is.
it. So
Oh,
I'm gonna get a seventh song
nice.
in here, however I see fit,
Ah,
and it's gonna be Malignant Narcissism.
Pretty
It's another bass
sneaky.
jam.
nice work. Yes, it is. Des Slagwerk. I'm sure the Germans will correct me, but Des Slagwerker, something like
There we
that,
go.
which is basically right. Wait, no, that was recorded in Holland, right? So that's basically
Yes.
Snakes was recorded in Holland, right? So that's going to be Dutch for something about the drummer, the drummer, or the drumming, or something like in that, right?
Hmm.
Yeah, I think he kind of did that with that, and he did that with R30 too. Cool. All right.
No
I was
pressure, only drummer on the panel. Go ahead.
well, I was originally going to go with the first drum solo that I ever heard because that was all of the brand new stuff, but I think I'm gonna go with the rhythm method from different stages. I just love I love the composition that he did there. You know, starting out a little bit differently than some of the other ones, where kind of like a lot of his other drum solos, he starts out doing like a bunch of stuff on the snare drum and kind of sticking there and kind of doing all that, and then he gets over to the toms and he does all these other things. And this one is starting out with the doom cha cha doom cha cha doom tick, and he's starting out. He's got a three rhythm with the foot, and then he's kind of free soloing over it, and it sounds so good. It sounds so great.
Excellent choice.
I like that one.
Alex.
Yeah, I'm glad that I'm following Jim because of the fact that I would want to make sure that it's like I wouldn't want to steal the drummer's choice
No, it's okay. You
of solo.
pick the one you like.
Uh, I also spent a bit of time listening to the Moving Pictures release, the 40th anniversary, and I have to say that the solo he did during YYZ, where it was basically it was an extended, it was the drum fill, his drum fill before the solo. But oh, while we're at it, here's the drum fill that lasts a couple minutes. Well, let's
Yeah.
maybe make it longer. So I mean, there's so many to choose from, Der Trommler and all that stuff. But it's the sort of thing where yeah, listening to that one recently, I just thought, yeah, I kind of like the way they just slipped that into the middle of that. So much like Rider,
Nice.
I'm just trying to shoehorn another song in there.
Nice.
It counts. Eric.
Yeah. Sweet.
Speaking of Der Trommler, I'm gonna take Der Trommler. I just
Okay.
love the arrangement, the orchestration of going from the heartbeat to the tribal music all the way up through
Yeah,
jazz at the end. I think it's just,
it's true.
a testament to how he knew how to write music as opposed to just banging the drums. So,
Oh, for sure.
very cool performance.
Yeah. And it's cool he got his love of big band into that because he was a huge big band fan, a huge
Hmm.
Buddy Rich fan, so that's pretty awesome.
Excellent.
Wow.
Well done, guys. I'm going to sneak
Cool.
I got my 4 plus an honorable mention that no one took. I'm going to go
Okay.
with,
What are they?
tack them on here. I'm going to go with Double Agent off Counterparts. Also, can't remember if that was Auburn Hills or not, but definitely that. Even with the technical oops where one of the pedals didn't fire with the pre-recorded vocals, because still
Yeah.
amazing, and I want that song on here. This will come as a shock to absolutely nobody, but off the Presto tour, War Paint. So I had
Oh
to make sure
yeah.
that
Yeah.
got on the list somewhere. Uh, and thank you, Stick Hits, for making some magic with that. Gonna go with Marathon. No one said it right.
I had it
Yeah.
on my list, but
Yes,
didn't say
I'm gonna
it.
go with
Nobody
I'm gonna
said
go
it.
with Show of Hands because that was
Yep.
the first song, the first version that got me into Rush. Thank you, Alex.
That was the commercial for the album. It was
Yes,
part of the
that's
commercial.
Camelot music. That's what got me
Yep.
into Rush. So thank you. I'm going to go with the Anarchist. I
Yeah.
went back and
Ooh.
forth. I'm going to go with the R40 version just because even though
Yeah.
I agree with the Vital Signs opener and we said we weren't going to do openers, but that just cooks.
Yeah.
That
Yeah.
just cooks.
Yeah.
Just Alex up front, opening it up, and then they all come in. That works a lot for me on that version.
Oh
Much
yeah.
as I prefer almost every version of Clockwork Angels live, I think with the Anarchist, I prefer the R40 version.
Yeah.
And the one weird one I'm going to pull out of nowhere for my honorable mention is I'm going to go with Paint It Black going into Spirit of
Mm.
Radio from Sarstock. Just because that was
Oh.
such a surprise. It was so welcome. I thought it was so damn cool. So since
Wow.
Spirit was not chosen, I'm going to go with that
Yeah.
version. So we can also sneak
And
Paint It
I'm
Black cover in there too, that riff.
yeah.
Oh, imagine if we got painted black on feedback in R30. Oh, would have been so cool.
And I made it on here anyway.
There we go.
Excellent. All right. So again, we are not saying this is definitive. You saw our methodology. So other favorites were not able to be chosen because of it. So no slamming the messenger here. What are your 5 plus honorable mention plus drum solo that you would put on your list? Let us know in the comments. Is there somebody, one of our panelists who you happen to think, wow, they really did, I was on board with most of those, or they took mine, or is yours completely unmentioned and you think something deserves a mention? Let us know in the comments. Other than that, we want to thank you for being here. We will be back next week with one more Rush 50 themed roundtable, and then we'll get back into our coverage of Snakes and Arrows. But as always, do please like and subscribe. We have been your Rush Fans Rush Roundtable, and we will see you next week.